Bird YouTube channel, brought to you by Red Heart Yarns. In this video, you are going to learn how to make the Simone's Open Wave Shawl. Isn't this beautiful? It is a gorgeous shawl made out of wonderful yarn by Red Heart called Gleam. And the yarn has a really beautiful metallic thread that is spun with the yarn itself. And it is incredibly soft yarn, but it adds that little bit of glitz and glimmer, which is perfect for an evening out. You will learn how to do foundation single crochet stitches and how to do this open wave stitch. Go ahead and download your free pattern. The link to that is right down there in the video notes below. And while you're down there, please smash that like button, as my kids say, to let people know that you enjoyed this video. Once you have your pattern, go ahead and grab your materials and we will jump in with the foundation single crochet. I'm going to go ahead and take this off so that way I can show you what the stitches look like. As I lay it down here, you can see that these stitches are really beautiful, right? It looks like they are all just kind of barely connected. And that's because that's basically what's going on. You are going to work a series of chains to create this really cool open look and then go back on the next row to do single crochets on top of those chains. By staggering where you put the chains, we get this really great look, whether it's diagonal, straight across, everything's not stacked up lightly. We have a really great look on the diagonal. Now, as I said, this uses Red Heart Gleam yarn, and this is a new yarn on the market that has a really beautiful metallic thread that is wrapped around the yarn itself. And it comes in a variety of colors. So if you don't want to use this color, which is called smoke, there are other ones to choose from. For the video today, I will be using a smooth worsted weight yarn, so that way I can better show you the stitches and how they're made while you're making this beautiful wave shawl. For a foundation single crochet, you begin with a slip knot. Place your tail in the palm of your hand, take your working yarn, wrap it around your forefinger and middle finger. When you come back up, cross over. Turn your hand over, go underneath the front loop, grab the back loop and off. Place that loop directly onto your hook. Now that you've got that loop on your hook, you will do 2 chains. So 1 and 2. After you've done those 2 chains, we will put the next stitch into the second chain from your hook. So it's the first chain you completed. You will go into that chain, yarn over, pull up a loop. Now, this first loop we've created is actually going to be the beginning chain of our foundation chain. Might sound confusing, but let me show you what I mean. We will want to yarn over our hook and pull through 1 loop. See how that gives us a chain right there? I'm actually going to put a stitch marker through it just so you can better see it. So now we have a chain, and that chain represents our foundation chain. And we have 2 loops on our hook, which represent our single crochet. It's the start of our single crochet. So we will yarn over and draw through those 2 loops. So we've just completed a single crochet, and at the same time, we completed 1 chain. So what you need to do now is come back over here to where this chain is you created, and you want to make sure you go underneath both loops. So I'm going to remove my stitch marker. You see how my hook is beneath both loops of that chain? I yarn over, pull up a loop, and I begin the whole process again. So I yarn over, draw through 1. Okay, let's put my stitch marker in there so you can see what's going on. So this stitch marker actually is into my chain stitch, that's my foundation chain, and now I get to complete my single crochet. So I yarn over, draw through 2. I do my next single crochet by going into both loops of that chain. See, that's where my marker is, so I could take my marker out, yarn over, pull up a loop, and I repeat the process. Yarn over, draw through 1. I'm going to put my marker in just so you can see what's going on. You don't have to add a marker every time, but I want you to be able to see what I'm showing you here. Now I yarn over my hook and I draw through 2 to complete my single crochet. Just whereas normally you would go into a foundation chain that you've already chained through, we are actually just working into the chains that we create by doing that simple chain 1. So I want to make sure I go into both loops here. See that? Yarn over, pull up a loop, and I repeat. So I yarn over, draw through 1. Okay, so if I draw through 1, this chain I just created is now my foundation chain. So I'll put my stitch marker through it. And I have 2 loops on my hook. So I yarn over and draw through 2. and I come back over here and I work into that chain that I just created, yarn over, pull up a loop, and I have to create the next chain. Yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, draw through 2. I will do this until I have the designated number of stitches as written in the pattern, or until I have my multiple of 7 plus 1. The shawl pattern has you begin with 155 foundation single crochets, and that will get you a shawl that is the size of the one I just showed you. If you want your shawl to be larger, you need to know what the stitch multiple is, and that is a multiple of 7 stitches plus 1. So as long as you have a multiple of 7 stitches plus 1, you can achieve this wonderful look. So I'm changing colors on you here, but I've gone ahead and I have done a multiple of 7 plus 1. So I have 22 single crochets, foundation single crochets completed in this beautiful flamingo color. And I'm ready to move on to my row 2. For row 2, I go ahead and chain 1, and I will turn my work. And what's beautiful here is you can see your foundation single crochet row. You have beautiful V stitches at the bottom of your single crochets. And then you can see that this is really nice and stretchy. And that's the beauty of doing foundation single crochets. You carry on with the pattern and you will do a single crochet in the first 2 single crochets. So I will do 1 and 2. Once I get these 2 single crochets complete, I will then chain 7, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I come back down here, I will skip 4 single crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I will single crochet in the next 3. So there's 1, 2, and 3. Now I will repeat that. I will chain 7, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I will skip 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and single crochet in the next 3. These chain 7s that we're creating are actually the beautiful arches and open lace area that we saw on the shawl. I will repeat mine one more time because remember I had a multiple of 7 plus 1. If you're working on your actual shawl, you will have more stitches until you get to the end of your row. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And here at the end, I'm to my last 6 stitches. So I will skip 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I will do a single crochet in my last 2 stitches. Just as we began with 2 single crochets, we end with 2 single crochets. As I set this down, you can see I've begun to set up my open weave stitch. It's time to move on to row 3. Row 3 begins with a chain 1 and turn your work. Then you will do a single crochet in the next 2 single crochets. So it's the 2 single crochets you just finished. We're over here now to where we have these great chain 7s, and we will put 7 single crochets around those chains. Don't give yourself brain damage trying to go into each one of those chains and doing a single crochet into each one. There's no point. Go ahead and work around those chain stitches 7 times with a single crochet. When you get to the end of your 7 single crochets, first off, I'm going to count and make sure I have 7 here. So those were my first 2. Then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. When you get to the end, you're back here to the next 3 single crochets, and you'll do a single crochet in those 3 stitches. You carry on in this manner down this entire row, putting single crochets in the single crochets and 7 single crochets in the chain 7 spaces. At the end of the row, you should have something that looks a little bit like this. So we have our single crochets worked around our 7 chains and our single crochets worked into our single crochets. Now it's time to build the next row, but remember we want to stagger our openings. So we will have our opening here, and then partial openings here on the side. This is how you're going to complete that. Go ahead and pick up your work and begin row 4. Row 4 begins with a chain 7. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This chain 7 counts as a treble crochet and a chain 3. You will then turn your work and skip the first 4 single crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then do a single crochet in the next 3. 1, 2, and 3. Now we will chain 7, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then you will skip 7 single crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and do a single crochet in the next 3. That is your repeat. 4, 5, 6, 7. I will skip 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and single crochet in my next 3 until I get to the end of my row. At the end of my row, I have 4 single crochets remaining. So I will chain 3 and work a treble crochet, so yarn over my hook twice, into the last single crochet. And this makes it so that the piece is symmetrical with the way I began. As I set this down, remember I said this initial chain 7 counted as a treble and a chain 3, and there's our treble and chain 3 on the opposite side. On the next row, we will go ahead and work back along these stitches just like we did on the previous row. For row 5, go ahead, pick up your work, chain 1 and turn, work a single crochet in the treble crochet, work 3 single crochets around that chain 3. So I'm not working into that stitch, I'm just working around those stitches. Then I will do a single crochet in the next 3 single crochet. And then place 7 single crochet into the chain 7 space. You continue on in this manner, placing single crochets in the single crochets and chain 7 space. When you get to the chain 7 turning chain, you will place 3 single crochets into that space, and then you will do a single crochet in the 4th chain of that turning chain. This is what I mean by that. I'm to my turning chain, so I will place 3 single crochets into that space, 2 and then 3. And then working into the 4th chain of that turning chain, I will place a single crochet into that chain. And that completes my entire row. You can see here, just as I'm working with this, the benefit of using the foundation single crochet is it allows my work to stretch with the completion of these stitches. It's time to move on to row 6. Row 6 begins with the chain 1 and turn. You will place a single crochet in the first 2 single crochets. Then you will chain 7, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You will skip 7 single crochets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and place a single crochet in the next 3 single crochets, 2 and 3. You then will repeat 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 chains, skip 7 single crochets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then do a single crochet in the next 3. 1, 2, 3. Are you starting to see a pattern here? I will chain my last 7, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now I will skip 7 single crochet and do 2 single crochet to finish off. So skip 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then do a single crochet in the last 2 stitches. Just like before, we began with 2 single crochets and we end with 2 single crochets. But in the body between, we have 3 single crochets between each of the chain 7s. If you're following along with the pattern, you will repeat rows 3 through 6 8 more times, then rows 3 through 5 once. Once you finish those rows, it's time to work on the edging. For the edging, you will do a chain 1 and turn after you finish a row 5. You will single crochet in the first 2 single crochet. You will chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Skip the next single crochet, 7 single crochets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And you will do a single crochet in the next 3 stitches. So 1, 2, and 3. You will repeat that. So you will chain 4, skip 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then do a single crochet in the next 3. 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, skip 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and do a single crochet in my last 2. Once I've done that, it's time for me to do edge row number 2. So I will chain 1 and turn, single crochet in the next 2 single crochets, do 4 single crochets in the chain 4 section, 2, 3, and 4, and then I will do a single crochet in those 3 single crochets, do my 4 single crochets in my 4 chain 1 space, whoops, to the end of the row. You can see what's happening here is it's making my final rows look just like my beginning rows, which is why it was so important we did the foundation single crochet. This final row here will make the beginning look just like the end, and we'll get a nice stretch at both ends. So the piece will have a beautiful, lovely finish, and it will be just wonderful. At the very end here, I'm going to finish off. So I will chain 1 and then cut my yarn and pull. And all I would do now is weave in my ends, and I would have a beautiful piece completed. You can see here my final row. Let's move that out of the way. You can see here my final row of my chain 4s and then 4 single crochets really allows that to be nice and stretchy and a nice straight line. And the same with down here by doing my foundation single crochets. Let me go ahead and pull up the example once again so you can see what it is that you've done. As we look down here, my final row on the finished sample right here looks just beautiful. It's the simple single crochets just like we just completed. And it looks very similar to our starting row here of the foundation single crochets, and it's because we used foundation single crochets. Remember that as you're making this shawl, you are working the width of the shawl, meaning when you did your initial first foundation single crochets, you were working the length of the shawl. So if you want your shawl to be a little bit longer, you will use more stitches. Now you know how to make Simone's open wave shawl, and I hope you will run out there and make one of these for your holiday season, or maybe just for your winter wardrobe. I will tell you firsthand, it is really soft and it feels great wrapped around your shoulders, and it's the perfect amount of glitz and glitter to really, show off your work. It's a lot of fun to wear, it's a lot of fun to make, and I highly recommend the Red Heart Gleam yarn. It is wonderful. Just remember, if you do make it longer, you will need more than 4 balls as recommended in the pattern. I hope you enjoyed this video and will share with me the shawls that you make. Go to the Marley Bird Facebook page and just share with me the shawls you make, or maybe you've learned something else here on the channel you want to share. I would love to know what that is. Go to facebook.com/MarleyBird and you can find me there. I'm Marley Bird, proud spokesperson for Red Heart Yarns, and this is Simone's Open Wave Shawl. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll talk to you guys again soon. Smash that like button. Bye. Looking for more Marley Bird? Don't worry, I've got you covered. Click right down there and you will find more videos just like this teaching you how to knit or crochet, all brought to you by Red Heart Yarns. Go ahead, click away. Don't be shy. Don't forget to smash that like button.